Did you know that over 1,350,000 Americans are affected by salmonella a year? Hi, my name is James Lincoln Oberg. I'm a junior in high school, and I'll be talking about the importance of avoiding salmonella in food. Did you also know that there are over 26,500 hospitalizations a year in America? Also, there's 420 deaths, sadly. All this information is from the Center of Disease Control and Prevention, also known as the CDC. Salmonella can be very dangerous. You can get this from many foods, mainly uncooked meats or animal products such as chicken, eggs, pork, frozen pot pies, chicken nuggets, and other chicken-based foods are very common to have salmonella. You can also get salmonella from a lot of vegetables, such as mushrooms, onions, peaches, papaya, cut fruits, cashew, rye, and more. But this can all be avoided. You can avoid salmonella by making sure that you store these foods properly, and also you cook them properly. How you store the foods properly is for cooked meats, well, not uncooked meats and of that sort. You want to make sure that they're either stowed in the refrigerator for up to depending on how depending on what the food is, up to a week or less. But you can also freeze foods, and when you want to freeze foods, you would be able to keep the foods in a frozen, well, in a zip tight bag, so it's sealed properly, and that the food won't be contaminated by other foods, so bacteria won't be able to travel around and get in your food. And this is very important to have sealed bags when freezing something, because you don't want it to be getting all over the place in your freezer and also contaminating against other foods. Now, with salmonella, it's a bacteria that can be found in many foods, but and it can be a huge problem, but it can be avoided by taking the necessary precautions. And as I mentioned earlier, salmonella can be found in fruits and vegetables. How you would avoid salmonella in these fruits and vegetables that you weren't going to cook, or you might cook them, is you would make sure that they were stored in the fridge for with the fridge being at least 40 degrees Fahrenheit or under, so the bacteria won't be able to get in the food and contaminate it, possibly get you sick. And and fruits and vegetables can be stored in the freezer as well, as long as they are in sealed bags. They can be sealed up to months without going bad or getting contaminated with bacteria. Now, when cook when handling things such as chicken or fish, you definitely want to make sure you cook it properly. And you cook it all the way through so that you won't have any of the raw meat in it that's containing the bacteria. And if you eat that, you could possibly get salmonella and get very sick. Um, these can all be avoided um, with the things that I mentioned. For foods that need to be refrigerated, it's best to make sure that within 2 hours of getting them, you put them in the fridge or the freezer, depending depending on what the food is. It could be shorter or longer times that you need to store it properly. Um, maybe you have leftover chicken that you had from a previous dinner that you want to eat. Well, you can put that chicken into a container and keep it in the fridge, and it'll be fine to eat for another week or so. Um, but typically, if you have leftover meats in the fridge for over a week, you might want to throw it out just in case, because you could always get the bacteria. To summarize, bacteria, salmonella can be very dangerous, but it can be easily prevented by taking the necessary precautions. And it's definitely a problem that affects the United States, particular. Um, but for most people, between the ages of 5 and 65, even if you get salmonella, it won't make you too sick, with most hospitalizations between those under 5 and above 65. My name's James Goldberg, and thanks so much for listening.